Absolutely. Monday, October 12th. And we had a lot of things happening in sports over the weekend. Another week of NFL football. NBA has come to a close. It's crazy to think what started, what's this been, 3 months now, the bubble. It worked. It worked, and we were finally able to crown a champion. Not only that, baseball, postseason-wise, baseball was littered with the coronavirus, but we're making it closer and closer to World Series time. Big thank you to everybody that is tuning in today. Kevin will be in here in just a minute. Of course, I'm Hunter Yancey, one of the co-hosts here on Joxx, Mondays and Wednesdays. For those of you who tune in and listen to us faithfully, we want to extend a big thank you to you as well. Whether we were on YouTube, you're listening to us on podcast platforms, or here on Facebook Live, a big thank you to all of you that are the faithfuls that come through and listen to us here. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start in baseball land. That's right. Baseball, the NLCS officially starts today, and the ALCS officially started yesterday. So with that, the ALCS Game 2 is already today, and it's between the Rays and the Astros. We were asked Saturday who our picks were going to be to win that series. I said the Astros were going to win that series. Not right now, though. I don't really know. I think this is one of those series that could be a coin toss, really. Either one of them could win it. First game, though, was in fact taken by Tampa Bay 2-1. You know, so this looks like this is going to be closer.
Bang! What's up?
This is going to be a closer series than you would think. 2-1. Yeah, the only thing is Tampa Bay's pitching wise is what's really been the talk of Tampa Bay. Their pitching staff has been strong. The games that they have won, even against the Yankees, they were close nail biters. They never blew the Yankees out. They didn't have any problems though in the first round. So really, Tampa Bay, they had the best record in the American League for a reason. So this does not surprise me at all. The Astros have kind of been the surprise story, though. They get in games, I think it was 1 or 2 games under 500, and they get into the playoffs. And from there, they've just decided that, hey, this is our moment. Time to come alive. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're hitting the ball fantastic. They hit the ball better than I expected them to, especially since they can't steal signs this year. They're doing a fantastic job so far in the playoffs. So that's why, to me, I kind of had to lean Houston's way, but it looked like Tampa Bay was going to be the one to take game 1 in this 7-game series. We are officially in 7-game series. First round, 3 games. Second round is 5 games. Now we're in the 7-game series, so Rays up 1-0. Then tonight is game 2. That'll be at 4 o'clock. And then the late night game, the first game of the NLCS, the Atlanta Braves and the LA Dodgers will face off. Max Fried versus Clayton Kershaw, ace versus ace. And I'm excited for that game. I really am. I'm more excited for this game than any of the NBA Finals games ever that happened. I probably can go ahead and tell you I was hit or miss watching any of the NBA Final games. But I've paid really close attention to these baseball playoffs. And I think one thing I can speak to is this, and Kevin probably understands it, and a lot of you listeners probably understand it as well. You will pay attention more when you have a dog in the fight. You will pay attention more when you actually have, a little bit of skin in the game. And for me, and Kevin had this as well in the playoffs, he had St. Louis in. I had Atlanta in. So far, Atlanta has been able to advance to the peak of the National League, just trying to get over that hump and make the World Series. Whereas when you look at the NBA, and same thing with like my NFL, I will always watch the NFL games because it's exciting anyways. But for the NBA and the playoffs, like Washington didn't make it. I had no skin in the game. I didn't have anybody really that I was rooting for. So I was kind of hit or miss on that. But these, I find myself paying attention more even to the Houston-Tampa Bay series. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, we have just as good of a shot as the Dodgers do to make it to the World Series. I want to see possibly who we would be playing. I want to see who we might be going up against. So I've been paying quite a bit of attention, and I think the 60-game season.
God, she's loud.
Yes, she
I
is.
wonder if they can hear her. Have you ever listened and see if we could hear her in the background?
Not really.
You folks listening, if you folks watching, I'm gonna point in the direction. In that direction, we have another radio show going on at the same time, and the lady in there, she has no volume button.
None.
Well, she might, but it's stuck on 9 or 10.
Right.
It's
Thank God. I hope that there's a condenser on her, or they've got the VU meter pulled down really, really low. That would be really nice, or she's blowing eardrums out every time. Well, I don't know. She's just excited, I guess. She's just excited. But like I was saying, I think this is something, and Kevin, I know we've talked about it a little bit. I think this is something that baseball should really, at the end of the day, like after the World Series is over, you need to have a meeting and just look at each other and have a heart-to-heart and say, this season was actually so much of a success, and our ratings were actually higher than they've probably ever been because it was a 60-game season. I'm not saying you drop it to 60 games going forward, but you could probably do without the extra 62 and just do 100.
Yeah, I like I think 120 is probably 100 is a good round number for me.
That's what I'm saying.
100.
I just was like, cut the 62 off.
I think they could probably do 120 and fit in the schedule as far as the same months and everything. The ones that bother me is the NBA players when they complain about rest and they only play twice a week, or when they do play back to back. Oh my God, the baseball players played
right
every day. And I know it's different taxing on your body and stuff, but the NBA's kind of looked at the same thing. But do they want to get fewer games? But they've already expanded their playoffs, so it's not really affecting anything at all, really, as far as they're concerned. They would just be shortening the season or giving, no back to backs.
Right.
Now baseball though, it is a little too much. It's a lot too much for the guys. Just for fans in general, so not to pick on Braves fans, but you guys have been exhausting for the last 20 years. How long's Twitter been around?
What, 15,
10 years?
10, 12 years now?
You guys have really been exhausting on Facebook and Twitter the last 15 years. I know some Braves fans, every single game, they'll tweet and text about. And I'm like, there's 140 more to go, boys.
I can promise you this. I can promise you this. I'm not
but the
one
60
of them.
games this season,
Right.
I didn't have really too many problems at all with anybody tweeting or Facebooking or.
And I think the reason
do.
why I found myself, maybe mentioning them more on the social media is because it is, and I've said this to multiple people that have asked me, oh, you've been paying attention to the baseball this year. I'm like, yeah, because it's a sprint.
Yeah.
Like, this is not quite on the same level as football and college football where you can't really afford to lose one game. But at the same time, you really can't afford to just go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak.
How about in baseball? I know this is going to be some weird, funny, fuzzy math for you out there. If you could have a 40-game losing streak in baseball and still have the best record in baseball history.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could.
You could have a 40-game losing streak. You could go 0 for the first 40 and then win every game after it and have the best record in baseball history. That's what you just think about how many games it is. Another thing, Hunter, we talk about these football players and baseball players. As far as games wise, the baseball players that are paid high, let's say the Trouts and the Betts of the get, they probably earn their money more than the other sports. As far as game wise, one season of 162 games. This is easy math to do. Patrick Mahomes plays 16 games. How many is that? 10 times. So they are playing 10 times more games
than Patrick Mahomes is.
Now, whether or not, it's as physical for the linemen are different, but I know for the kickers and stuff, they could play 120 games.
Right.
They're not. But I'm not saying play 40 games of football. What I'm saying is that the baseball, it's so many games, and the best part about it, Hunter, but again, baseball can't do something good without doing something bad. Too. So when they went to the playoffs, instead of going all 5 or 7 game series, they had this 3-game
3,
first
5,
rounder.
7.
That was just that may have knocked a team or two out that probably could have won.
I'll just say this: it's better than just the one game.
Oh, absolutely, that's 100 times better than
Yes,
the
it's
fewer
better
in
than the one
baseball
game.
is.
I mean,
let's
we
think about
play
basketball.
series. It's
What
the
if
same
basketball
thing.
they played one game and the Heat, who won Game 5, won that one game?
I mean,
And that would have been the
college
championship.
basketball, all they ever do is
Right.
play one game.
That's what college does.
And technically, whenever they do the 16 and 11 game play-ins, they get screwed because they have to end up. It doesn't matter if they win that game.
Mm-hmm.
That was just to get in. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like whenever, what was it, last year, the year before, the Cubs and Brewers played game 164. Or no, 163, and that was just to see who gets in.
Right, after they played 20 games.
Yeah,
in regular
after
season.
they'd already, and after
That's what's
they
so weird about baseball. They won't do tiebreakers.
Nah.
Like, we played 162. You can't find a tiebreaker in
Sorry,
there
guys,
somewhere?
we need you to come out here next
For
weekend. Game
163.
163.
We need to waste your ace before the playoffs start.
163. Yeah. Got to get that done.
Now, but football will go to like what, 8 different tiebreakers on something, and baseball's like, we ain't doing any tiebreakers.
And not just that. The
Think about
NFL is fine with ties, and I'm just like, oh.
In
dumb.
baseball, Hunter, the Braves, let's say for example, could beat the Mets 15 out of 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be tied for first place,
Yes.
and they would have to play a game instead of saying the Braves.
Instead of looking at head-to-head
one
and
head-to-head.
saying, whoa.
And then the Mets get hot and hit 3 homers. And
That's it. That's it. But
but you're right that the anything more than 1 is better. 3 is questionable, but I'll take 5, and 7 is the best on those.
well, with this series that we've got going on now between the Astros and the Rays, Blake Snell was the one on the mound for the Rays last night. That doesn't surprise me at all. That's their true ace, and he came out pitching. The problem is, I will give the Astros credit. That's kind of why I picked them Saturday morning to win this series. Is like, look, they're doing this not only without stealing signs. We know of.
Not the way they were stealing signs.
Right.
They could still be doing it a different way.
They still could be, but let's just say they're under a larger microscope. Because so if they're getting away with this, damn, they're working real hard.
All I'm saying, Hunter, is Belichick found a way.
Fine.
He didn't stop after the first time he was caught, did he?
Fine. They just deflated the baseballs. Fine. But some people forget though too. The Astros don't have Verlander this year at all.
Yeah.
He was out with injury, and and Garrett Cole didn't re-sign with them. He is a Yankee. So for what the Astros are doing in the playoffs wise, I'm not talking about what they did on the season because it showed that they really took a step back on the season, going 29-31, and all of their guys hitting possibly 15 to 20 points under what they were hitting the year before batting average wise. But what they are doing postseason wise, they always say it. Now I've been saying it for weeks. Why I like the Braves, you got to peak at the right time. Your momentum's going to carry you, and so far the Astros have had it, but I don't know. Rays wise, I feel like they might have the better pitching core, and that's been the talk with the Rays the whole time. And if you look at the Rays series, they're not blowing anybody out. So what is it? It's win ugly. You could quote unquote say win ugly. Just make sure that the other team doesn't score, and all we got to do is win 1-0.
So before the Braves to their first pitch tonight at 8:00, there'll be 2 games already played in the American League Championship Series.
Yes. And see, I don't like that. I would have much rather both of these series started on the same day.
I'm guessing you don't know this is just random. You don't know the before postseason odds on these teams as far as like, to me,
who was favored.
Well, let's say Astros have a losing record. Everybody in the world's pulling against them because they cheated. Mm-hmm. That would have been a great bet to make. Astros for World Series. If I'm a bettor, value bet.
Oh God!
So I was just wondering if that was one of the lower ones or not.
I don't think the Astros were one of the lower ones. I believe the Rays were one of the lower ones.
In the 1 seed?
Yes, because are you talking about though? Are you talking about odds though when the seeds were made or at the beginning of the season?
No, but just either one. I know
because I remember
I was just talking about playoff odds when they had a losing record coming in the playoffs.
Yes.
And everybody is.
I remember that was one of the things that I got really excited for was before the season was getting ready to start, and they put out odds on who they thought was going to make it to the World Series, and it had the Yankees and the Dodgers up there really high, and it had the Braves. They were like tied for 3rd or 4th. So it was really interesting to me to watch for that. So that's what I was getting ready to find. I didn't know if that was what you were asking, because I do know that the Astros were still high on that list because of who they all had. Everybody was probably expecting them not to dip so low if they could. They thought they were still at least pretty talented without cheating.
Well, Hunter, they just announced the start times for these games.
Okay.
First pitches tonight, of course, 8:08. Tuesday and Wednesday, Braves will be at 6 o'clock. 6:05 first pitch. So the KTC Broadcasting will pick up the pregame show about 5:30 on both those days, and then we'll move into it's 6 o'clock start time. So they just announced it because we were looking at them online. See, they're not even posted on the Worldwide.
The other ones, so I just knew that
we scooped them, Hunter. We know before they do.
KTC breaking news.
First Braves news.
Breaking news. But we did know that tonight's game was at 8, and we do know that it is going to be Fried against Kershaw. And I think that's going to be the best pitching duel this whole series will see, is Fried and Kershaw. And it's because both of them, the pitch that they lean on the most is their curveball. And it's one of those, 10-2, or I'm sorry, what was it? It's like 12-6 curveballs. Like the thing just dips hard on them.
I think y'all could be Kershaw's kryptonite. I mean, you got a good hitting team. There's nothing.
And see, that's why I think we can beat them, is because if you're taking BP or you're just taking live throws from Max Fried, I mean, he's already throwing what Kershaw's best pitch is, which is his curveball.
Yeah.
And so if you can hit Max Fried's curveball, I'm not going to sit here and say his is better.
Fried lefty?
I don't know. I don't think he is. I think he's right-handed.
You don't even know what hand Fried is. Hunter.
I don't pay attention to what hand they throw with. I just pay attention to their ERAs. He throws left. He's left-handed.
Okay. Well,
he is left-handed.
And there you go.
We're fine. We're fine. Look, I'm so confident in this Braves team that I don't care really at this point which one of our three we throw out there in game one.
Wow.
If you do want to go ace against ace, that's fine. I wouldn't. But that's what they're doing now.
I'd throw Fried 2 and 6 and try to out-hit them in the rest. I don't know. I'm just one of those that
Oh, it's not going to be Kershaw. The Dodgers are pulling a 2-6.
Yeah, Walker Buehler is going first game. So that's good for you guys.
Buehler.
Put it this way, Hunter. You ready? I'm ready. I want to scare you. Tonight's a must-win.
I think it is.
Okay.
It is a must-win.
You got
It sets
Kershaw,
the tone.
You got your ace.
It sets the tone. It sets the tone. I would much rather be in front than behind the 8-ball going against the Dodgers. I don't want to give them any unnecessary fire to light underneath them, with them basically looking at us and saying, you have no shot now. Absolutely not. We can hit with the Dodgers. I'm not scared of that at all. Pitching-wise was the only thing that I had a question mark about until I started to see how these pitchers reacted postseason time. But I will give credit to everybody that has been saying this. This is the first true test in the playoffs we're going to have. Cincinnati, their offense had been suspect all year. They knew that their pitching was their ace. That, not to just throw a baseball term out there, but their pitching was their ace. That was their go-to. They were going to beat you with pitching, maybe beat you 2-0. Well, we hit their pitching. So that didn't happen. And then we just got so lucky that the Marlins happened to come through to play us, and we were averaging 8 runs a game on the Marlins on the season. So I can agree with people. This is going to be the Braves' first true test, but I'm not worried. And I will say this. I know you say this is a must-win, and I agree with you. I will sit here and say every game is a must-win. But if we lose tonight, I'm not going to lose faith. I think Ian Anderson could pitch just as good against Clayton Kershaw. The only problem is I just don't want this, the NLCS itself, not the playoffs, the NLCS, to be one of those moments where the light is too bright. Ian Anderson there. I mean, all these guys are still so young, like sub 25. I don't know. They always tell you in the playoffs, experience matters.
Anderson pitches tomorrow.
Yes.
Against Kershaw.
Yes.
And then you got Kyle Wright on Wednesday. You know who they might be throwing?
I have no idea who they would be throwing. But this lineup for me, Fried, Anderson, Kyle Wright, I expected it. That's how we pitched against the Marlins. That was our rotation. So I'm not surprised.
All right. So there's some baseball updates for a little bit. Hunter, I want to thank our latest podcast listeners. I don't know if you've clicked on it, but our listenership in the past month has grown by 800%. 900%.
I love to see it. You love to see it. You love to see it. You love to hear it.
That's on the. That's just on the
podcast form.
Right.
You love to see it. We would truly appreciate. I know we can't see you, but we truly appreciate those of you that are listening.
Right.
Feel free to follow us on KTC Broadcasting on Facebook. Follow KTC Broadcasting on Twitter. We post clips on Twitter as well. Our YouTube channel. We truly appreciate everything that you guys do for us when you do tune in and listen. It's always nice.
Of course, as always, like, subscribe,
yes.
share, follow, whatever you need to do on the podcast. Also, we're live on Facebook right now. That could change sometime. We post the highlights to YouTube. Just from what I've got, Hunter, we get more live on Facebook for the folks around here that know us, but the YouTube's good for getting it out and about around the world. So you can watch on either one of them. I post the highlights on YouTube. We was watching us accusing JP of lying this weekend earlier.
Yes.
On like that. JP does it. What he doesn't know, Hunter, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to explain to him what he did Saturday, but he did do another hand signal.
Oh no.
And I'm about 1,000% sure he don't know what that one means. And we'll talk about that later. I'm not sure if Hunter knows what it means.
Well, I'll tell you,
I think you do, but
I probably
it'll
do.
be. We'll have to. I think what I'm saying is that there's a chance we'll have to bring it up to him off air on Saturday.
Okay. Okay.
Because I don't think he's gonna get what he did. And then if I try to explain to him, I couldn't do it on radio waves.
No. And I think what we're going to do as well, though, for those of you that are listening, whether you're live right now or podcast form, we would like to have its own Twitter for Shock Joxx. That way we could post like little small clips on Twitter. I think that'd be really nice as well. But we've got some plans for you guys. But we're so thankful again for all of you that have been listening, whether it is live or in the podcast form.
And comments as well, Chris, Gene, anybody that wants to comment and give us a question. Sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't. Don't act like we're not ignoring you. Sometimes we either don't get to it or like that.
Sometimes we do see it and it's about 30 minutes late.
Right, we post on so many different things.
Yeah.
Is that trying to keep up and talk at the same time is a little tough sometimes. But thanks for you guys for all tuning in and watching us and laughing along with us with the silliness from the guys sometimes. All right, Hunter. So any other comments on your baseball for tonight?
I'm just excited to watch the Braves, and I haven't been in this position in a long time for sports. The only team that I've really been in position wise to be like, hey, we've got an opportunity is Georgia. In college football, we make the college football Final Four.
Yeah,
we'll make maybe the national championship, SEC championship. And North Carolina in basketball. North Carolina in basketball's always been nice being able for their consistency. But for this to happen in baseball, it's a real treat, and I'm really gonna try and enjoy it. And I think it would be really nice. I'm pretty sure tonight I'm gonna go up and watch it with my grandmother. She's a huge Braves fan. She's got so many baseballs.
She's going to be up till midnight?
She's going to be up. Well, don't question my grandmother. Grandma, if you're watching, I will come and watch this Braves game with you tonight because I'm very excited for it as well. But she's got all sorts of baseballs that are signed. My late great uncle Glenn, he was a huge Braves fan at, what is it called now? At Truist Park. He's got a brick out front. My family bought him a brick out, and they have a brick out front for like you can have it for memorial. So we have one for him there too. So it'd be really nice if they didn't have it in the bubble, and you could have at least 10 to 20% capacity at these games. It would have been really nice to have tried to go down for one of these playoff games. But you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy it. I've enjoyed the ride so far with the Braves. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And I'll enjoy watching the other game too. But it's just been fun. And I know, obviously, us and being affiliates, that's just more content to continue to bring to people. You know, the deeper they go, the better it is.
More things we get to talk about. So, Hunter, game 4. I mean, it's 7 days in a row in the NLCS. And the ALCS gets what, 2 days off?
Do they get 2 days off?
They get one.
Oh, you're talking about when it ends, though.
Well, I'm just saying, just in general,
because they're playing again tonight. The ALCS is playing again today at 4. Because I'm telling you, if they do have that set up, they're screwing the NLCS.
They're playing 7 straight.
Okay, good.
But they're just starting a day.
Yeah, they're starting a day early, and so the ALCS will finish a day early.
Well, depending on
maybe.
If the Braves sweep the Dodgers, you might be done early.
That's exactly. If I'm Atlanta, that's the goal.
All right, Hunter. Here's my pet peeve tweet of the night.
Okay.
The Lakers